Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Yes, I know, it's Friday. I usually don't do a Friday show. I'm usually doing it on Thursday, but I got the day off work today, so I figured since I had a little more spare time, I'd do a Friday show instead of a Thursday show where I'm scrambling in the morning to get it done and get to work on time. So I delayed it a little bit, and that's fine. You know, I've been having a nice, enjoyable day. It's a beautiful day here in Austin, Texas. It was a little chilly this morning. Temperatures rose up. It's about 70 degrees or so outside. What I would call beer drinking weather or day drinking weather, in my opinion. So I might just sit back after this and go grab a beer and just, enjoy the nice weather. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, give me one sec. Okay, I'm back. Went and got a Corona from the fridge, popped it open, got my Star Wars koozie, and I'm drinking a little beer while I do the show. So, hey, it's always fun that way, right? Okay, all right, guys. So, got a couple things to talk about today, but first, a couple housekeeping things. If you have not already checked it out, Lisa and I did a Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace review. Now, of course, to prepare for The Rise of Skywalker, we are rewatching all the live-action Star Wars films, one a week, and then, of course, we're going to talk about them, give kind of a perspective on them, like the prequels and the older films. It's been a long time since they came out, and we're to talk about how we feel about them then versus now, and also talk about some of the books and comics related to it that you might want to check out. So if you haven't checked that out, I recommend hopping online. Remember, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, Patreon. Listen to that, and of course, fire back on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let us know what you think about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, because next week, it's going to be Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Okay, so let's get this show on the road, guys. Of course, I always like to start off with some X-Men news, if there is any. This week, issue number 1 of X-Men came out by Jonathan Hickman. Now, Hickman looking to redefine the X-Men and kind of what they are in the Marvel Universe. Made a couple changes these last couple months with House of X and Powers of X. And, have kind of give the X-Men a new status quo, so to speak. And now that those two titles are over, we're moving into the regular books. You got X-Men, X-Force, Excalibur, Fallen Angels, and a couple other titles that are going to come into play. And we'll, again, still try to set up this new world. I'm most curious to see what has changed in the normal timeline of the X-Men that we're used to for the last 50 plus years. Obviously, reality's been, messed with, so how have relationships changed? People died and came back. Something's different, and Hickman has said that he's going to tease a little bit about that as the story goes on, which is understandable. But in X-Men number 1, we pretty much get the Summers family. It's what it's all about. You got Cyclops, Jean Grey, his brother Havoc. You've got their daughter Rachel. Cable's in there, a young Cable now. And then you got their brother Vulcan. That's a little iffy because, he was a villain way back in the day. So I'm curious to see how they're going to deal with that. Again, the fact that these characters are the way they are lets you know that reality has changed from what the normal time stream is. And I'm just curious to see what really has gone on in the past and where these characters are at. Obviously, some things have changed because the reason I'm talking about this issue is about the infamous love triangle between Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. Of course, it's been an ongoing thing as long as Wolverine has been in X-Men comics for many, many decades. It's been featured in the films and animated series and all that stuff too. Well, there's a new little ripple in this little love triangle, so to speak, and it has to do with the housing arrangements. Hickman at the end of the issue gave kind of a blueprint of what the Summers house looks like and where everyone's room is. And if you look, someone noticed, I didn't notice the first time I looked at it, but I saw it online and I went back and I'm like, holy crap, they're right. Everyone has their own rooms. And if you look to the right, you have Jean Grey with Cyclops and Wolverine on each side of her. Now, I made this little joke when I first saw the cover for X-Men #1. I was like, it's like Wolverine is crashing the Summers family picture because everyone in there is a member of the Summers family except for Wolverine. Well, if you look, you can see that there's a little opening to Jean's room. 2 openings. One leads to Cyclops' room, one leads to Wolverine's room. I'm going to let you sit on that for a while and think about that, and we'll see where that goes as the series continues. So, of course, fire back in the social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know where your thoughts go on that, because a lot of people are starting to have a lot of thoughts about that, and I gotta think that somewhere along the way, Emma Frost is going to factor in the situation as well, guys. Okay, so now that is out of the way, let's jump into other pieces of news. So, just breaking today, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, as you know, was cast as Black Adam many years ago. It seems like decades ago, but it was like maybe about 5-6 years ago. He was cast to play Black Adam in the DC expanded cinematic universe that they were going to do. The one that started off with Man of Steel, and then Justice League, and then Wonder Woman. The universe itself has hit a little bit of a rough patch, of course. But of course, Black Adam is most associated with Shazam, that had the film come out this last March, I think it was, March or April, starring Zachary Levi. And there was kind of a little tease about The Rock as Black Adam, where there was a little shot. They showed kind of a silhouette of Black Adam that looked like The Rock. And then there was a deleted scene at the end of the film where they all go to sit in the chair, or the Marvel family does, and there's one chair empty, again alluding to Black Adam. However, no one's talked about exactly when this film is going to be in production. It's been many years, but The Rock just jumped on Twitter commenting on a gentleman who did a little replica of, what he would look like in the Black Adam costume, a little figurine or statue, so to speak. And The Rock responded back saying, "Very cool, man. Thank you. Amazing detail. This project has been with me for over 10 years. Production begins this July. Appreciate the support." So there you have it. The Rock saying publicly production on Black Adam is going to start very soon. So, that's something, of course. That's what he says. Now, they have a director attached. Who is it? It's the guy who's doing Jungle Cruise with him. I can't say his first name. Colette Serena. I probably butchered his last name too. But anyway, he's set to direct the film with The Rock. He's worked with him on Jungle Cruise. I think there was another film as well he worked with him on. But anyway, so it looks like there's a little leadway when it comes to the Black Adam film. I don't know, honestly. I feel like they should introduce him in a Shazam sequel and go from there, but that's just my personal taste. You know how I feel about villains and villain films, and why I think they're pretty much a waste, except for Joker. Joker was fine, but that's a different story altogether because it's a different kind of comic book film altogether. But anyway, guys, head online, check out the news, let me know what you think about it, and of course, let's discuss it. Okay, so I got 2 other stories here I want to talk about today. Let me just go off, I guess, with the casting stuff. So, within the last week, casting for the Matt Reeves Batman film seemed to be speeding up a bit. So, we got word earlier this week that Big Little Lies star Zoe Kravitz is coming on to play Catwoman. And then just yesterday, we got news that Paul Dano, who's been in films such as There Will Be Blood, Little Miss Sunshine, 12 Years a Slave, and Love and Mercy, he's coming on to play Edward Nygma, a.k.a. the Riddler. So these are 2 casting choices on top of the fact that Robert Pattinson is tapped to play Batman, and then you got what's-his-name from Westworld, Jeffrey Wright, is still in talks to play Commissioner Gordon. Now the film's set to come out June 25th, 2021. Oh, excuse me, guys. My beard's coming back up. And, of course, it's going to be directed by Matt Reeves. So, what do I think about this? All right. Paul Dano, great actor. If you haven't seen any of the films I mentioned, check him out. There Will Be Blood and Love and Mercy. He did great jobs. Prisoners, he was in with Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman. This guy, I've been watching his career as he's grown up. He's a really talented actor. So the fact that he's cast in this, I know he can do a great job as Edward Nygma. And Zoe Kravitz, someone who, has been around for a while, the daughter of Lenny Kravitz, the famous artist and I guess semi-actor, you could call him. But, she's made a name for herself as well. I remember she was played Angel back in X-Men First Class. She was in that film. Didn't continue on to the next one. But she's been in this Big Little Lies show on HBO for 2 seasons now. And while I don't think she's a great actress, I think she's good enough. Knowing what I know about her and what I've seen her in, I think she can pull off a part like Catwoman, especially when you think about the chemistry she has to have with Robert Pattinson. I'm sure she had to have some kind of reading with Pattinson in order to, test their chemistry for such a part. And Matt Reeves, a good director, he's not going to just cast anyone. But these 2 choices I am on board with. I'm fully okay with. Anybody who has a problem with them, Paul Dano, you clearly haven't seen his body of work, so I can assure you he's more than well equipped to play the Riddler. Zoe Kravitz, again, like I said, not my first choice, but I think she can do the job, and it's a job of a director to pull out the best performance in their actress. I was sitting at my couch last night watching The Newsroom, the HBO show. I went through all 3 seasons in like 2 weeks because it's just so awesome. I've avoided watching other shows because of it too. Like I'm behind on Supergirl and Black Lightning and other shows because I just want to watch The Newsroom. But Olivia Munn, who most people consider a bad actress, if you watch The Newsroom, she is a good actress. She has the potential to be a good actress. It all depends on what kind of character you give the actor or actress and what the director wants, how they direct the actor or actress too. To me, that gives me proof that, if the actor has any kind of talent with the right director, the right script, it can definitely pull something out of greatness. And Zoe Kravitz, while I don't consider a great actress, I think has the potential to be great given the right script and the right direction. So Matt Reeves is a great director. If he's got a good script, I have full confidence that Zoe Kravitz can pull off Catwoman. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe you don't like it. Fireback, of course, social media groups, Gmail account. Let me know what you think, and we will sit here, wait for the next casting of the Batman. All right, guys, and last story for today. So it was announced back on Tuesday, Kevin Feige is getting a promotion. Now, he is already the head of Marvel Studios. He has been for a while now. Before that, he was a producer on several Marvel films, such as the X-Men films. Going all the way back, that's how he helped break in to run Marvel Studios, and I think we can all agree he's done a phenomenal job doing that. According to Deadline, he got a promotion. He has overseen all of Marvel's creative personnel, with all key film, TV, and publishing executives reporting directly to him. Now, this is going to include Marvel TV and Marvel Family Entertainment. Okay, so kind of breaking down the structure. You have, of course, at Disney, Bob Iger at the top there. Oh, Uncle Bob, he's the head of it all, okay? But Feige will continue to report to Walt Disney co-chairman and chief creative officer Alan Horn. Dan Buckley will continue to serve as president of Marvel TV under chairman Ike Perlmutter. Now, Perlmutter and Feige don't have a good history from what's rumored. But anyway, for publishing operations, sales, creative services, games, licensing, and events, while also reporting to Feige in a creative and editorial capacity. So let me read that again. Dan Buckley will continue to serve as president of Marvel TV under Ike Perlmutter, while also reporting to Kevin Feige in a creative and editorial capacity. Additionally, Joe Quesada, who served as Marvel's CEO since 2010, will stay on board as their creative lead and report directly to Buckley. So, a couple of things shaking up there. Basically, what this story says is Kevin Feige is not only looking over the movies now, he's looking over all of TV, and he has a hand in publishing, as Chief Creative Officer of Marvel is going to be his official title. There are several ways to take this, several things to think about when it comes to this story. Obviously, you think Kevin Feige, you think the great job he's done with the MCU and with Marvel Studios, so you're happy, you're excited for this. I know people were excited when they heard that he was going to produce a Star Wars film. I was excited for it too, but then there are other people that thought that this was the first step to him taking over Lucasfilm. I never believed that for a second, because Kevin Feige is a very talented guy. And to go from head of Marvel Studios to head of Lucasfilm, it's a unilateral move. It's not a promotion. It's not a step up. I think Star Wars, it's got its bumps and its bruises. For the most part, though, I think they've learned from their mistakes, and they're going to move forward better under Kathleen Kennedy's tutelage. I think they're going to be fine. It's Star Wars. They've got a lot of stuff that they did right these last couple of years, and I think they've learned from the things they did wrong and move on. So I don't think in any way Kevin Feige is going to come over and take over Lucasfilm. This is a little bit of a step up, because instead of looking over just the films of Marvel, he's now looking over TV and actual comic books in Marvel in a creative fashion. This could be good, but at the same time, Kevin Feige's worked in movies. I'm pretty sure he's worked in television. I don't think he's ever worked in comic books before. And all three are very different mediums as far as how they're made and produced. Granted, TV and film are a little bit closer. So looking over the comic book aspect, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, it could be good for his ideas to come into the mix. But as far as, him telling comic book writers what to do without having that comic book experience, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not saying it could be a completely bad idea. I'm just saying I'm a little hesitant on that idea when it comes to the actual publishing of the Marvel comics. But like I said, he's a creative person, and also this gives us a key where the MCU is so fluid and connected. One thing that lacked from the TV shows with the Netflix shows, or even going back to say like Inhumans, or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think this will give it a more fluid all-around feel where you can start to connect more of the movies to the TV shows. We know that's going to happen with the Disney Plus shows like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. We know all those are going to come from the people who were in the movies. So again, I think it's all going to start to blend a little bit more. You're not going to see kind of that cutoff between the TV shows where things of the TV shows don't affect the movies. It's only vice versa. I think things will affect the movies that happen on TV very much so. As far as the comics, I don't know. I mean, the comics are kind of the Bible, the base, the idea machine when it comes for the movies and the televisions and the animated series and all that stuff. So whether you really want to kind of mess with that, I would almost want to let the publishers do the publishing and keep creating the ideas. Now he can chime in with a couple ideas of his own. I totally get that. But as far as, messing with that and trying to incorporate it into the TVs and movies, I wouldn't want to do that. But then again, I'm a guy who works retail sales. What do I know? Kevin Feige, obviously a much smarter person than I am. That's why he's the head of Marvel Studios and does great things. So whatever he thinks could work, I will have to have faith in him, because he has never let us down in over a decade. In Kevin Feige we trust. And I know he was already doing quite a bit with just Marvel Studios and the films. Now that he's spread out to TV and also publishing, that's quite a bit there. Quite a bit to do, of course, when you oversee pretty much all of Marvel in a creative capacity. But if anybody can do it, he can, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I am happy that, he's getting more responsibility. And I think it's what Disney, Bob Iger, Alan Horn, all of them thought was, this guy's a talented guy. And he has accomplished so much with Marvel Studios. He's a type of guy who's always looking for the next challenge. So they knew, I think they either had to give him more or let him go, because any studio would be glad to take him, obviously. Now, the next obvious step in my eyes would be for him to take over Disney films, which is what Alan Horn does. Whether that's in the future or not, we'll see about that. But overall, like I said, Kevin Feige taking his talents and spreading them out throughout more of the Marvel universe is a good thing. I just hope he doesn't spread himself too thin and still listens to people that know their medium, such as comic book. But of course, you fire back on the social media groups, Gmail account. Let me know what you think about Kevin Feige getting this little bit of promotion. And that's going to be it for me today, guys. Of course, fire back on any of the topics I have talked about. The Batman casting, Kevin Feige, Dwayne Johnson's tweets, and of course, the X-Men swinging house, apparently. I'll be back next week. Like I said, I'm going to start off. Well, Lisa and I will do our episode 2 review, so you can listen to that probably early next week. But if you have anything else you want to talk about, fire back on the Facebook group, Twitter account, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. You can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram, SlimDayspring12. Go out. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Live your best life. And until next time, may the force be with us all.